Hi, my name is Yoel, and you want to know what's interesting? Rich people. And I'm not talking about people that got like $20 in their pocket rich, or like people that can't afford to eat Chipotle every day type of rich. No, I'm talking about real rich, like billionaires with a B. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're booling. They're wild then for sure. Because like, why would you have $1 billion? And like, really, like, stop and ask yourself, like, they got $1 billion? So when these people reached like 100 million, they weren't like, all right, yeah, that's enough. I'm good. I think I have enough money. No, they went ahead and did that 10 more times. So, I mean, it might be time to just come to the conclusion, you know, because I am getting older. And the older that I get, the more that I realize is that people have to be reminded to click the like button before the video even starts so that this video can spread in the YouTube algorithm so that I will be able to pay my bills because I am a grown man after all. So like I was saying, since I am a grown man after all, I think it's about time that I come to the conclusion that I will never be a billionaire. It's probably not going to happen for me. It's probably not going to happen for you either because we're just not smart enough. It is what it is. You know, if we were a tad bit as smart as a billionaire, wouldn't we have $1 billion or somewhere close to $1 billion? The proof is in the pudding, right? And but also know that it doesn't have to be all depressing. We can still live vicariously through these billionaires that can afford to live lavish lives, you know, because they need to have all of this money for some reason. Okay, so we can live lavishly through them. And luckily for us, the YouTube algorithm is a comedian. Or at least it thinks that I have a good sense of humor. Because there's this video that popped up in my recommended titled, Yoel Rekts, the Billionaire Collector. Bro, say less. Since I will never be a billionaire, and I can live vicariously through other billionaires, I'm sold. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this video. And big spoiler alert, before the video starts, yes, it's the same Rothschild that you're thinking about. That same exact one. Yeah, so let's go.
For the country's super wealthy, there's only one man to turn to when it comes to good taste.
There's no question. I've got to buy all three.
I've got a very defined, and some would say refined, sense of taste.
Well, I mean, right off the bat, it's not really fair. Because of this man's accent, he can say whatever he wants, and it's gonna be believed. This man could say straight out lies and people would still believe him just because his accent makes him sound a lot smarter than what he really seems.
Gordon Watson is one of the world's leading authorities on 20th century design.
7,500 and we are friends.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the smartest person in the room right now. What I am trying to say is, maybe I just don't know what the word authority means, but I could have sworn that the word authority means to express your force through any means necessary. I thought that's what authority means. So like, what do you mean he's the world's authority on art? If you don't agree with him, does he come to your house and break your legs? Is that how he enforces his authority? Who gave this man the authority? That's what I want to know.
At 4,250,000 sold.
It's a mania. It's not natural how much I buy and how much I need to buy.
Oh my God, this is so exciting.
I don't know. Sounds to me like you got a cryptocurrency addiction. I'm sorry, art collection addiction. Sorry.
At a five-star hotel on the Wadston Estate in Buckinghamshire, Gordon is doing his homework, swatting up on the dynamic story of one of the most wealthy and influential families in Europe.
I'm meeting with Lord Jacob Rothschild at Wadston Manor.
So much to unpack here. Imagine being so rich that the places that you went to actually had names. Like, for example, you wouldn't just say, I went over my friend's Jim's house over the weekend. You would say, I went over Sir Jimsiston's estate. And I think that's so much cooler than just saying I spend the weekend on my friend's house, you know? Actually, from now on, if you ever come over my house, you better say that you came over the Yoel's estate. You didn't just come over my house. You came to the Yoel's estate, okay? From now on, that's what you're saying, okay? We bougie now, too.
So me being at Waddesdon with Lord Rothschild could, please God, be the opportunity for me to make a few pennies.
For the love of God, I am 6 months late on my mortgage. I need these few pennies.
Set in the English countryside, Waddesdon Manor was built in the style of a French chateau by Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild in 1877.
The only word that I understood out of all of that was 1877. What? So wait a second. So the Waddesdon Manor was built by this dude named Baron whatever, and it's this weekend retreat house that they have that's literally a castle. Like, look at this. Broski, this is a legit castle. These people said we weren't born royalty, so we'll just become royalty. I love it.
It was used as a weekend retreat, a place to hold extravagant weekend-long parties and house the family's vast collection of art and antiquities.
Okay. So they're not just rich, okay? They're rich. They literally build the castle just to shoot the shits and house their art collection. Some people can't afford food. Hey, I guess work harder. I don't know. And you can tell they definitely had something to prove back then because they're sitting outside in the summer fully dressed to the brim with the dumbest of hats on. So you know they're sweating in them bridges. And listen, I know that it's hot outside because they got umbrellas out there. You don't put umbrellas outside unless it's at least 100 degrees out. So you know they were all sweaty and smelly.
They showed their power and status by building magnificent houses and starting exquisite collections.
I think it's a really interesting place to have kept going, and I'm really proud to have added to its collection, to have added to the architectural interest of the whole place.
Follow you?
Yes, do.
Thank you. Lord Rothschild is one of the people I admire the most. He's deeply passionate. From his youth he was buying. From the age of 19 and his early 20s, he was buying extraordinary pieces.
Of course he has. Listen, Lord Rothschild is amazing. Lord Rothschild is so handsome, and he has great taste in art. And maybe if we keep complimenting Lord Rothschild, maybe we'll be able to make those pretty few pennies. You know, from somebody that's been buying art since they were 19 years old. You know, when I was 19 years old, I was afraid I didn't make enough money for rent. Some of us get to buy art. Some Jewish people were not born rich. What?
Waddesdon holds an unparalleled collection of 18th century art and furniture, and one piece has pride of place.
So it's an automaton, isn't it? You wind it up and everything moves and the flowers move and the trunk moves. Can we see it working?
Yes, let's wind it up and see it working.
Oh my God.
I mean, to their credit, if there was a final boss of trying to impress somebody with art, it would have to be this guy because, I mean, he was born into one of the world's wealthiest families that was already collecting art way before him, you know, and he's just continuing his family's tradition. So, you know, he has ladies with white gloves on walking around his house just to show how the art works. This dude is out of this world art collector. Out of touch for sure. So if there was somebody to impress, it would definitely be him. So Waddesdon, it definitely has his work cut out for him. Will he accomplish his goal? Find out after a word from our sponsor.
Gordon only has a limited amount of time with the Lord to find out if there's anything he can sell him, as the collection here is unparalleled.
So, Jacob, what do we have here?
Well, this is an extremely beautiful piece of furniture. This is a rather small piece made for Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette, one of the most famous women in history, sat here, wrote probably secret notes that she stashed away in a secret drawer, and then she got her head cut off. I mean, it's...
Jesus. So I don't know. It seems to me like the Rothschilds are hoarders. But don't worry about it, because when you're rich, then it's called being a collector. When you're poor, it's called being a hoarder, okay? Because if you ask me, owning Marie Antoinette's desk is a little bit compulsive, a little bit mental. You definitely have something wrong with you. But it's okay because they're billionaires. So they can afford to maintain their hoarding. If you're poor, though, and you hoard, then, TLC breaks into your house and makes a whole TV show about you. So I just like to point that out. That's it.
I know who it's by, I know what it's called, but what's extraordinary is how beautiful it is in this room.
He had an exhibition in Milan, picked up a pile of plates, threw them on the floor and smashed them. And then he felt remorse and made them into this rather crazy but beautiful chandelier.
Most people just go to IKEA and they're satisfied with that. But this man managed to get a chandelier that has remorse energy stored into it. Bravo. Bravo.
In the true traditions of the Rothschild family, Lord Rothschild has become a patron of modern architecture, having commissioned the most extraordinary modern guest house to be built on the estate. It's a private residence and another building to house his ever-expanding collection.
Immense wealth, okay? They have a whole other private residence to house their really expensive art. Billionaires. And they have officially lost their mind because this building, low-key, looks like there used to be a building there, but now there isn't because it got erased. Like somebody grabbed the eraser tool in real life and literally erased it. That's literally what it looks like. Not judging billionaires for how they spend their money because, they earned it. Stop getting that impression.
It's also an opportunity for Gordon to suggest how he might fill it.
It's astonishing. I mean, seeing it in this sunlight, the sun appearing, forcing its way through the clouds.
Good, fantastic. I mean, it's an amazing sight.
I love that. I love that. I love how he said that opinion as if it's a fact.
Good, fantastic. I mean, it's an amazing sight.
I mean, he's Jacob Sir Rothschild, okay? So, and when he says opinions, they might as well be facts. He's so rich. And we all love him because he's so rich. He has such amazing qualities like being rich. Okay, he was all like, it is an amazing sight. It is an amazing sight. That's the type of energy that it had. He could have just donated money to Flint, Michigan or something. I don't know. He really needed this. Seems a little bit excessive. But once again, I'm sorry. There I go again, judging a billionaire for spending his money that he earned. Sorry.
Designed by architect Charlotte Skeen Caitlin, the Flint House has won the coveted Reba House of the Year award. Gordon's now in his stride and feels confident enough to comment personally on the traditional interior.
I'm curious about the decoration. My overriding thought is, whilst it's comfortable and fabulous, I would have loved it to just be a bit edgier. That's the only.
Yeah.
Have a bit more of that
more
flavour.
courage.
You going away from your comfort zone a bit?
Well,
I think that's
I'll think about it.
Gordon hasn't an idea for the interior, but the exterior might hold an opportunity.
These are the chairs that you're...
These are the chairs. I had that.
They're horrible. Jacob, it's my mission. I've got a few missions. I think we've got to find something that...
They're not great.
Yeah, they're not great. And we're going to have something amazing sitting here.
Back in London, Gordon's been hard at work searching for some outdoor chairs for the Flint House. He's found what he thinks is the answer from a British designer.
And this is what I think Lord Rothschild will not be able to live without. He'll probably hate it.
Straight off of Amazon, bro. No shame in his game.
The spun chairs were originally cast in copper and other semi-precious metals, but they're small in comparison to the other projects for which the studio is now famous. The Routemaster bus in London, the 2012 cauldron at the Olympic Games, and the still-to-be-built garden bridge across the River Thames.
They showed all those projects, they showed all those chairs, they showed all those circular thingies, but they didn't show a single person actually sitting in the chair. And to me, as a person that buys chairs because I have a butt that likes to sit down on things, I feel like that is the most important feature you should ever have on your product. If you're going to sell a chair, you should have people sitting down on your chair, because if not, then am I just overthinking life?
Gordon's reputation has been built on his knowledge of antiques, but today he's flown to Amsterdam, a city with a growing status in the world of modern design.
I'm going to see Studio Drift. They make the most incredible lights. I'm specifically going with Lord Rothschild in mind. I'm in the mood to buy. I need to buy. I think there's nothing like waving a checkbook under somebody's nose.
How far would you go to get a nice pair of lights in your house? Because this man, he flew all the way to Amsterdam just to make sure that he gets to see the lights in person so that he can potentially, potentially sell this to Lord Rothschild along with some chairs that he won't even be able to sit down in, okay? I want you to ask yourself, what have you done today that is even close to the type of hustling and the type of grinding that Watson is doing right now? You haven't done nothing. And this is why Watson gets paid the big bucks, because he's willing to go out there and put himself on the line all the way in Amsterdam, okay? That's why he gets to get these deals with Lord Rothschild and you don't.
What I love about this is the juxtaposition of the delicacy of this and the femininity and then the masculinity of that.
Yeah. There's so much Gordon wants, but he's finally struck on something remarkable. A chandelier built of copper and dandelions.
Aren't they supposed to be able to survive a nuclear holocaust or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll lie dormant.
Yeah, that's in all parts of nature inside.
So if I blew...
Try.
Oh, it's
glued.
As each of these tiny little seedlings, each of those is glued to a stalk.
Excellent.
The fact that this is nature, that you've harnessed nature and you've adapted it, and you've made lights out of it, is the most extraordinary thing. I'm absolutely hooked now. I can feel the adrenaline. You know, I'm a shopper. That's why I'm an antique dealer. So what can I, here and now, what can I get my Euro check out and buy?
Oh, we don't sell it ourselves. We have a
Okay.
gallery who's in charge of this.
And I'd have to contact them to get the price.
Absolutely.
Okay, well that's easy, that's a phone call, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, very good. Really like one of the dandelion pieces, one of the lights I've just seen. The problem is, I'm not sure what's available, what price or what size. So I've got to call the gallery, find out exactly the status, if there is anything available, and find out the price.
I don't know, bro. I'm starting to believe in you anymore. This whole thing's a mess. Nothing's going your way. Are you really a professional like you say you are?
This is bigger than we thought, isn't it? Sit in it. I don't know, how is it? Ooh. Oh, it's rather nice. Isn't that an amazing design?
Okay, yeah, so like, it fits you. I see it. I personally wouldn't sit in it, but okay.
Gordon may be delighted with the spun chairs, but his lighting solution for the Lord is proving more difficult. He couldn't buy the dandelion chandelier direct from the designers in Amsterdam, as it's not just any old light, it's a work of art.
I've got to go and meet one of the co-owners of Carpenter's Workshop.
I think what you're looking for is a piece that we have called the Diamond Chandelier.
And is that part of an edition?
And that's part of an edition. We do have this one piece, and the price is of 62,000 euros.
Loic has the size of dandelion chandelier he needs, but at a whopping £50,000, Gordon will have to pull in another favour.
I'm going to have to ask him, can I borrow it? I don't want to be forced into buying something I don't want to. And actually the real reason is I've spent all my money.
Why am I not surprised? Out of all the things that have happened so far and all the things that have went wrong so far, this is the one thing that I'm just not surprised about. Because honestly, if this was a casino and I had to bet whether I think he spent all of his money or not, yeah, absolutely. I think he has. For sure.
I'm going to have to ask you a great favour. Could I possibly take the chandelier on consignment? I don't want to buy it and then he doesn't buy it. Do you see? Could I take it on consignment?
You can, yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I guess it's true what the Bible says, you know? If you ask, you will receive. Because, wow, all he did was just ask confidently and the dude said yes.
Is it heavy? No, it's not too bad. Don't get scared.
With the help of James and a team of specialist art handlers, Gordon is hoping that he's found the right contemporary pieces that Lord Rothschild might add to his collection. To stand any chance of a sale, Gordon must make sure his presentation is immaculate.
It just looks terrible. I mean, it couldn't look worse. The colour of the wood is leaching the beauty of the copper.
I guess you can say that he went from 0 to 100 real quick.
You know, it's a lot of money, this piece. I mean, it should look like that. It should just be this floating, you know, ethereal thing that looks as though it just, you know, this object that just looks as though it would float away. And, you know, I had visions of it in the red velvet with soaring ceilings at Waddesdon, and it would look extraordinary, and it doesn't look extraordinary here by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway, things can only get better, because they certainly couldn't get worse.
He obviously cares a lot. Like, if you had to guess if he cares, the answer is yes. And how much? A lot. Like J. Cole and 21 Savage.
Hey, look, it is rather fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
It's one,
Right.
probably as many awards as you're going to have for the Flint House.
And how long do the dandelions last?
They last forever.
Forever,
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
really.
They've been, you know, you need the volume for those incredible rooms at Waddesdon.
No, it's a very beautiful thing. Very beautiful.
Lord Rothschild seems impressed by the dandelion chandelier, but non-committal.
Well, I've gone on a bloody roller coaster. I wish you could lose weight from being nervous and emotion, because I would have shed 2 stone today.
Man, he must be all in on this sale to be that nervous to the point that he shed 2 stones. I have no clue how much that is because I'm just a stupid American. And honestly, we constantly get flake from like Canadians and Australians for not being on the metric system. But you should stop making fun of us when there's people in Europe that literally talk about their weight in rocks and stones, you know? Like, stop making fun of us, make fun of them. That's all I gotta say. Like, you obviously would have a lot better material making fun of people that measure their weight in rocks. Lord Rothschild bought the Heatherwick Spun chairs for the Flint House. Good job. He is still thinking about the dandelion chandelier. Big oof. Ooh, this is some big oof. So, he bought the chairs that you can get from anywhere. But he did not buy the chandelier from Amsterdam. Okay? The richest man in the world bought $1,000 worth of chairs, but didn't bother getting the chandelier, even though it's one of a kind. Okay? He bought the least expensive things out of the 2. He's worth like $1 bajillion. And he didn't even buy the chandelier just out of pity. Nope. He bought the $1,000 worth of chairs. He didn't buy the chandelier. He bought the chairs. So what did we learn from this video? Chairs took like nothing to transport. The chandelier had to be borrowed from an art museum just to showcase to him, and he just said, nah, I'm good. They didn't even lie about it. They didn't even lie about it for the show. They just said, nah, he didn't buy it. Well, does that goes to show? Well, there's a reason these Rothschilds are so rich and they stayed rich. They don't spend their money, baby. They just don't do it. So, there's another thing that we could also learn is that if you made it this far into the video and you still did not press the like button, I just got one question to ask you. Were you not entertained? You think it's easy to make these YouTube videos? It's really not at all. So I think I earned that like. I think you should press like on this video. Hey, if you even want to send me money to my Cash App, I appreciate that as well. You could also subscribe to this YouTube channel with bell notifications on and even leave a comment with your opinion on it. All for free. And also, why not just binge watch my YouTube channel? I got videos of the wazoo. I'm sure there's something in my library that you're gonna like. So go ahead, spoil yourself, enjoy the videos, and maybe one day I'll become a billionaire if I convince enough people to watch my videos or something. I don't know.